I'm not going to stand here in front of one of the great wonders of the world and argue about an old movie. I'll go back inside. If you figure out some plan to make $800 last a lifetime, knock on the door. I'll be in there.
You're listening to the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to Keep Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. We were talking about finance tips, common finance tips out there that might actually screw you up if you follow them. I think the basic concept there, Bart, is don't follow tips that are just handed out. You know, I mean, sure, we talk a lot about strategies and things like that on this show, but you're never going to hear us say you should always or you should never, because everyone's different. Everyone's situation is completely different. One of the largest mistakes, I think, with a lot of national media is just this, you know, this headline that gets a click or gets a subscription or whatever, and it does a terrible, injustice to anyone who follows the advice of it.
Right. Nobody on radio or TV should be telling everybody what to do with their finances. You can get some generalities out there, but to say that this is an absolute is absolutely ridiculous. And I found it kind of funny. You know, the first article that we covered today talked about common personal finance tips that will actually fail you. And then we have this article here by Kiplinger, and they say, if you follow the 4% rule, and down here they say, if you're rule of thumb, replacing 70 or 80% of your pre-retirement income.
Right. And here 5 minutes ago, we were just explaining why the 4% withdrawal rule may fail you 50% of the time.
Yeah.
So now there's a perfect example.
To Kiplinger's credit, they do, if you read the whole article, they do say that, the 70 or 80% pre-retirement paycheck does not apply to a lot of people. But the fact that they kind of put it in there and they put the 4% rule in there was kind of opposite of what we were talking about in the first article.
Yeah. But I mean, even if you do take that, because I think $1 million is like one of those numbers. I mean, we still concentrate on if someone's a millionaire, right? I mean,
right.
It's still kind of a thing. We don't say, are you a 3 millionaire? We say, are you a millionaire? Well, I mean, just basic inflation tells you that a millionaire today is much different than a millionaire 20 years ago. But I think it's still that number that so many people strive for. If I could just retire with $1 million, not to say that you're going to be impoverished if you did that, but even if you take the 4% rule, which 7 minutes ago we indicated could potentially fail you 50% of the time, according to, the article from Yahoo Finance, that's only $40,000 of income. $40,000 of income minus your taxes. Isn't...
So you're probably down to about 32, the average person.
Yeah, I mean, that isn't some astronomical amount of money. I mean, we're not talking about, making it rain in Vegas kind of retirement income. Now you add some Social Security to that and stuff. And, okay, you might have a comfortable lifestyle. But let's be honest. If you saved $1 million in your 401k, your income was probably pretty decent when you were working. And I think that's where the real, kind of rubber meets the road. If you were living on $160,000 when you were working, I think you're probably being disingenuous if you think you can live on 45 when you retire.
And this $1 million thing is a psychological thing to a lot of people. And I don't have any studies to back that up, but I've had some experience, and I've seen several people come into my office, and it seems like all of a sudden they're over $1 million in their 401k, and they decide that they can't stand work anymore.
Right.
Okay.
It is. You're right. It's so true.
It happens.
It's like they open
frequently.
The envelope. It says $1,001,000, and they're like, "Oh, I hate my job."
Yeah. Yeah. And the benefit of reaching that point and working 3 or 4 more years is huge. But I think a lot of people are frustrated in the type of work they do. If that's the case, maybe they should look for other work to do and not consider just not working altogether. But it does happen, and there are workable solutions, but you have to understand, if you're going to quit at 59 or 60 or 61 with $1 million in your 401k, it's doable. You can do that. If you're going to do that and plan on living the life of Riley and having a lot of travel and having an expensive lifestyle, there's a potential there that you could run into problems.
Well, and I think the biggest thing that is missed in this conversation so often isn't how much can I take out, it's how much do you need? And so many of you, and there's times I'm no better at it, I'll be honest, if there's enough money coming in, budgets kind of stink, nobody wants to deny themselves that steak dinner they've been looking forward to because they realize they've already overspent on eating out. I mean, that's not fun, right? But if you don't know where your money's going, how can you possibly know how much you're going to need when it's fixed income? And I think that is one of the largest missing holes in the equation. I don't know if $1 million's enough for you. You might need $5 million. You might need $400,000 because you've got a pension, you've maxed out your Social Security, you have no debt, and your idea of retirement is you're going to ride your bike around the country and visit places you've never seen on, $8 a day. I don't know. What do you want to do? I will tell you, if you're living on $150,000 a year now, and you're not maxing out your pre-qualified investments like 401ks, it's probably unlikely you're going to all of a sudden just flip a switch and live on 40. And it's just not realistic. And I think that's where we kind of get in, we see this thing like you should plan on replacing 70 to 80% of your income. That actually should have been on the first topic.
Right.
I don't know where that came from. I think that came from back in the day when we had the little three-legged stool where pension, savings, and Social Security made up your retirement. Basically, a lot of people are on a one-legged stool, Social Security, and probably if you're listening to this show, you're on a two-legged stool. You've got some savings to go with it. If you're super lucky, you have a pension. But I don't know very many people that stop working on Friday and Monday they start living on 70% of what they were earning the week before. I mean, your lifestyle kind of is what your lifestyle is. I mean, sure, you'll save money. You don't have to buy clothes for work and you won't have to drive anymore and stuff, but you're not going to save 30% of your income.
No, that's ridiculous. In fact, I'd say the amount of people that really applies to that we talk to in our office is probably below 5%?
Probably. And actually, there's a lot of people that spend more in retirement than they were spending when they were working.
Well, I plan to spend more in retirement.
Because you got more time.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't do because I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what those things are. And, there's things like an area that I want to go to, but it's too far away, and I just can't justify it in my mind going there and having all that expense for 1 week or 10 days or something. But if I have a month to 6 weeks,
right,
I definitely would like to go.
Well, I love New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful country. Went there one time, way too short amount of time. I will go back. I will go back for a much longer period of time, and it'll cost me a whole heck of a lot more than it cost the last time I went.
Right.
You know what I mean? That will probably happen first year of retirement, you know? Well, that's going to probably push my budget a little up over 100% of what I was spending the year before. I mean, you definitely save in some arenas. You're not putting away in your 401k anymore and that type of thing. But at the same time, you're increasing your costs in many other places. One thing people don't think about, if you retire before 65, your health insurance costs, unless your company provides some kind of retirement health benefit, your health insurance costs are going to drastically increase.
And there's not too many companies that are going to pay for your health insurance if you retire early.
Very few, very few. So is $1 million enough? I don't know. How much are you spending? If you can't answer that question, that's probably the most basic thing you need to figure out right now. What is your spending plan? What is your cost of living? Your true cost of living. Not what you think you're spending, but what are you really spending? Let us know if we can help. We've got some different ways to help you track it and come up with ways of kind of getting that in line before you retire. But it's definitely the first step in finding out what you really need to retire successfully. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about bonds. A lot of times they're thought of as that safe investment, but they are definitely not the set it and forget it kind of thing that sometimes people think they are, right here on the Keeping Your Money Show.
It's never too late to plan for your future, and the Keeping Your Money Show can help. Our team of advisors can answer questions you may have about investing your money. Through Securities America Inc., our advisors offer a diversified and comprehensive list of quality products and services. Call the Keeping Your Money Show at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to schedule your free consultation.